right, everyone. Welcome to the Pleb Critics Podcast. I'm your host, Evan, and I'm here with my friends
Skylar
and Preston.
Yep. And today we have kind of an impromptu topic. We were going to talk about some other stuff, and then one of our guys canceled, and then another guy canceled, and then a third person canceled.
On a four-person podcast.
So, we ended up just kind of finding out who was available at the last minute and came up with a topic. So today, because it is the Christmas season, we are going to talk about Christmas films. What is a Christmas film?
A Christmas movie typically is something set in November, December, just kind of this area of the year once Christmas supplies start coming out and you're able to see Christmas time is in effect. Or it could even be a made-up Christmas holiday such as The Grinch isn't technically Christmas, I believe, or is it?
No, I think it is Christmas.
Is it Christmas?
Yeah, it's Christmas.
I thought they had like some weird name for it though.
No, they have like the Hubilation.
Yeah, they got like
weird
traditions. Anything that's just kind of like this tradition around the winter holiday.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Skylar? What do you think?
A Christmas movie that has the basic themes of Christmas, spending time with your family, giving stuff to others, and also celebrating Jesus' life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Passion of the Christ is a Christmas movie?
Well, technically.
No. That's Easter. Can't steal other holidays for your bad example.
No, I can't. That was just
I meant for him. You stumped him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a stupid question anyway.
I wasn't.
So like
really.
So a film, like does it have to? Could you have a Christmas film that didn't take place around Christmas time if it was just like your family and giving and presents and
technically yes
stuff?
I would say if it has Santa as a main character, because Santa is a Christmas character, any time of the year with Santa is technically a Christmas movie.
Okay, so is Rise of the Guardians a Christmas film?
I knew that was going to get brought up, and I would say that's all holiday film because every holiday is represented.
Right.
Yeah, because you have the Easter Bunny, you have the Tooth Fairy, which isn't a holiday, but and Santa,
Sandman's not a holiday.
Yeah, you're telling me National Sleep Day is not a thing? I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah, there's like National Pizza Day and
there's National Anything You Want Day.
Yeah.
I mean, just somebody goes, "Oh, this should be a holiday," and they do it.
Yeah.
Don't forget like the greatest Christmas movie of all time, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Have you actually seen that?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I have as well.
I haven't directly watched like from point A to like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched like bits and pieces and then somebody talking about how ridiculous it is. But I've never watched the actual thing.
I guess I kind of did the same thing. I used to watch this thing called Drunk Disney. Fantastic, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They would take shots during the full like Disney movie, and once Disney bought Star Wars, they did the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Okay.
And the only way they were able to find it, though, was it had all the old commercials in it because it was just recorded off the TV because you've never been able to buy a copy.
Yep.
So that was really interesting. So I watched it with commentary and the original commercials.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. George had said something like he wishes he could find every copy and burn it or something like that.
No, to smash it with a hammer.
Well, I mean, they came out with a second Star Wars Holiday Special recently.
We're not going to talk about that.
I tried watching it. I got like 4 minutes in, maybe.
It gets better. It really gets better.
Okay.
You have to wait. I watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it. Wouldn't be something I'd rewatch it, but it definitely was funny. Had a couple good jokes.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, the Lego Holiday Special. That's right. That's
yes,
the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the first. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. It was just the first few minutes. First of all, I mean, this is not a Star Wars podcast today, but like, I just can't stand the characters. I can't stand Poe. I can't stand Rey or who's the Finn?
Finn.
Yeah, I can't stand any of them. And so I'm just like, oh no, it started with them. It just made me not want to watch the whole thing.
Rey is a main character in the whole thing, but is a time travel thing. So she's going through she actually goes through every single movie.
Oh,
except
and
the
then
new ones.
She probably teaches Luke how to do everything because she's the bestest
no,
ever.
actually, Luke teaches her. But
shout out to Overlord DVD.
Sorry.
yeah, don't get your pleb stuff. But yeah, I think we kind of covered what holiday specials.
I guess so.
I mean, there's definitely exceptions to the rule. I mean, the obvious question is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Right.
And like that is set at Christmas time. That actually has a Christmas music background for the entire score.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, I would classify Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, there is that question though of like, does the plot have anything to do with Christmas,
or does it just have to be set at Christmas?
Right. Because that's the thing. Like, you could have written Die Hard in any time of the year. You know, technically, he could have gone to see his wife for any reason, basically.
Easter, yeah,
right.
Anything.
You know, he could have done whatever. They could have had a party for some other thing.
Funeral, yeah.
Right, or whatever. So, I mean, and I get, like, there's thematic parts to the film that, like, are Christmassy, and that's part of it, but... You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't really care either way.
I mean, even though that movie carries jokes that are Christmas related, it's like they hug the Christmas theme. Like they don't just go, it's Christmas and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have Iron Man 3. Is it a Christmas movie? Because it's set around Christmas time. There's a Harry Potter movie set around Christmas time.
I was going to say, like, every Harry Potter film has a Christmas part.
It goes through the entire year.
Right.
So would we count those as Christmas movies?
Or are they holiday films?
Yeah. There you go.
Well, like I actually have been listening to a lot of film scores recently.
Oh, me too.
Just like while I work or, you know, whatever, just think about how cool film scores are. And I listened to a lot of John Williams stuff recently.
John Williams is the best.
I mean, you know, we should have a podcast on scores.
Just on John Williams? Or
I mean, on scores in general, but like, man, like John Williams is ridiculous. Like, does it get any better than him?
Honestly, if you look up the Wikipedia page for him, which I did recently, it lists that he's like known as one of the best people of all time for that job of a composer, especially for movies. Because I mean, you look at what he's done, I almost would say that the movies that he scored wouldn't have been as big if he had not scored them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Jaws probably wouldn't be as good without his score.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, there's something about that. Like that just gets you. Like you say that, and people will immediately go, "Jaws, John Williams."
Right.
Like they don't even have to be film buffs.
I mean, even like Star Wars, which I think is in its own right a great film for many different reasons. Man, this is not a Star Wars episode.
Okay, we have to get back.
We need to get to Star Wars, but anyways, just listen to the fanfare and like the way it opens and everything. And John Williams just makes the film. It takes it to that next level. Every single time. You know what?
I want to say for the Harry Potter movies, if you look at the score, speaking of that, they are actually listed different songs as like a holiday or Christmas one. So
that's what I was trying to get to. So in the score for the first film, there's literally an entire song where they're like singing like Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Like it's woven into the film.
Or don't they have like the frog choir do stuff too, like around Christmas time?
That's in the third one. That it starts out with the Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. But anyway, so there's that kind of question about like what technically constitutes a holiday film, and there's a few out there too. I also Narnia. I was watching Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe this month because I was like, it's snow, you know, whatever, and I totally forgot that Santa is a character in the film. Yeah. So technically, like, is it a Christmas? It kind of is.
I mean, it's set in snow. It's definitely. I mean, Christ is technically Aslan.
It's definitely an Easter film because
he does die. Oh my gosh. So I think we just discovered that there's movies that are not Christmas films, but just holiday films in general that have every holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's interesting. It's literally got Santa and it says, oh, it's never Christmas because it's always winter and all this kind of, I don't know. So it's cool. And then there's that Reliant K song about that.
Oh, I thought you meant in the movie, and I was about ready to have my mind blown, and because I was sitting here like, How did I not know there was a Reliant K song?
No.
That would. Could you imagine all that big score? Then Reliant K like electric guitar comes in.
Well, they have like the credit songs are kind of
oh, that's true.
they're kind
yeah.
of poppy.
Yeah.
So the second one ends with a more pop oriented song.
Well, you
but-
gotta sell that song because like the whole score, most people don't buy, so they'll listen to the last one and go.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true. Actually. Yeah, so that's we'll kind of reel it in a little bit there. But I guess that's what is a Christmas film. It happens during Christmas. The plot has to do with Christmas. Christmas is interwoven into the thread of the film. I don't know, like the music, the whatever. So it's a pretty broad category when you
Mhm.
really think about it. But aside from that question, what are you guys' favorite Christmas films?
It would probably be Home Alone.
Okay.
Why's that?
Why should I need to explain? It's Home Alone.
Because this is an audio podcast.
Yeah, you gotta explain.
I know. I was joking.
Explain yourself.
Because it's set around Christmas and it goes into the whole story about family,
Mhm.
where Kevin says, "I wish you guys weren't here anymore," and he gets his wish.
Yeah.
And he slowly starts to see, his family's important to him,
Mhm.
important, and that Christmas wouldn't be the same without them.
Mm-hmm. And then he commits all sorts of crimes. Well, I don't know if they technically be crimes.
Technically,
Well, no,
not
yeah, actually, because you can't set traps. It's not legal.
really, not even in your own home.
Mm-mm, you can't set traps.
Well, it's set in Chicago, so
That's a
in
good
Chirac.
one, yeah. You know what though? Technically, at the time, that would be interesting. At the time, was that the law though?
I think the law came into effect like in the 60s or something.
Oh, I was gonna say, did it come in like the early 2000s because of Kevin?
No, it was a while ago. Yeah, this guy had like a home that was not his home. He like inherited it or something, and so he wasn't living there with his wife, but he had to go check on it, and it was getting ransacked all the time by just people taking advantage of it, robbing it because no one was living there, and so he set up a shotgun
Mm.
Oh.
in that was tied to a door. So if you open the door, the shotgun would blast you, right? And it did blast this guy, and he didn't die. So he sued him over it, and it is actually a really interesting case. It's kind of one of those misconstrued ones where you're like, oh, but he shouldn't have been on the property, and he deserved to get shot. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like that's my gut reaction, but when like you read the argument, it actually makes a lot of sense. Kind of like the hot coffee McDonald's one where people were like, oh my gosh, she sued McDonald's for spilling hot coffee. But when you like look at what it actually did to
Mhm.
her, you're like, oh yeah, that's like totally wrong.
Yeah, I mean, legal cases, the ones with the better lawyers normally can control the narrative better, especially with the McDonald's coffee one.
Yeah.
But that is interesting. So yeah, he broke crime, like he
He's-
did a crime right
he's
there.
totally
Yeah.
he's totally criminal. Maybe he'll get tried as a minor though.
I
you
mean,
know?
I mean, he was like what 9 or 11 in that film.
Yeah, he wasn't terribly old. I don't know. You know, I've only seen that film maybe twice.
I don't think he was even in the double digits. I think he
No, yeah, he's
I want to say like 9.
probably 9.
Yeah.
at least 9.
I would say that.
He might have been 8, but let's just say 9.
Yeah.
And also he was able to bring back a family for his neighbor, the creepy guy.
Oh. Yeah, man, I don't remember. I don't remember that film very much, to be honest.
Yeah, he had the creepy neighbor that everyone thought he killed his entire family.
Because holiday movies.
Holidays.
Yeah, that's a holiday film.
Eh,
You always want to kill your family around Christmas.
and they they meet up at a church because I think Kevin was running away from the bandits,
Oh.
and the neighbor revealed, up there with the kids singing, one of them is my granddaughter.
Oh.
And Kevin gives him this advice.
What's the advice?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
It's Christmas. You should talk to your daughter.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know anything about that film, to be honest. What about you, Preston?
My favorite film for Christmas time, I rewatch it every single Christmas, is The Polar Express.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the Polar Express, honestly, to me, like the visuals for the time frame of that movie are stunning. I know a lot of people say, oh, the animation is weird and it's like too lifelike, but it's like, no, you don't understand. For looking lifelike at that time,
What was that? 2003 or something? 2004.
it was that old?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
like that movie, honestly, is extraordinary. And then like it could be a 4D ride. Like that entire thing could be a 4D ride where you sit down and there's several sequences where you're like on a roller coaster and they do it so cleanly and you follow things like perfectly. Robert Zemeckis, who was Forrest Gump or did Forrest Gump, the movie, it did it and brought Tom Hanks in. Tom Hanks plays, let's see, like four characters. Yeah. And like, everything is motion captured, so the movements are very realistic. It's not like kind of weird. Like in some animated movies, you get some weird movements because they don't really know how people move. When you're trying to draw it, you're like, how does one walk? And it's just like this weird thing. But when you have like everybody being a different character and actually doing the movements, you're just having actors act. But now you got this added element that before really wasn't in animated movies, which was the motion capture, which was very new technology. I mean, which you kind of got from Lord of the Rings, where it got popularized with Smeagol. And so, yeah, that movie to me is one of the best Christmas movies and very dear to my heart.
You know, it's interesting because it still does hold up visually to some extent. Like there are parts of it that do look a little uncanny valley. You know, some of the characters' faces are a little rubber looking and some of that. But yeah, for being from 2004 and doing realistic people was like not a thing you did. I mean, not even Pixar, right?
I mean,
was doing anything that looked remotely like that.
Look at Pixar in like 2004. That was incredible.
I was about to say, Incredibles was 2004. Watch, like, I don't know, I feel like they got better throughout the film, but one of the earlier shots in the film, which is when Mr. Incredible is saving the cat from the tree and then he like stops the robbers and the cops get out and talk to Mr. Incredible real quick, they look terrible. Those cops look like little weird homunculi. They just like creepy, pasty faced, you know, rubber people. I don't know. It just didn't look right.
Look at Tony, Violet's like boyfriend. They did
Tony looks creepy.
Tony's
too.
super weird looking, which is why they basically gave Tony a facelift in the new one. Like all the other main characters stay the same, and Tony had to get like totally redone because he was creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about anything from 2004, and I know people really crap on the facial features of Polar Express, but it's like, no, anything animation, computer animation from that time frame is weird looking.
Like skin tones got way better, you know, in like the 5 years following that. Like something about skin, like they got skin right. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like
they use moisturizer.
They use exactly. They threw moisturizer on the computers.
They're like, wow, how does this work?
No, they took them to a tanning salon. And it wasn't the fake kind.
Oh
Don't
my gosh.
worry.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
but anyway, so yeah, that's my favorite Christmas movie, and because it definitely carries this message of like this kid doesn't believe in Christmas anymore,
Right.
and then at the end you're like, the movie is so good that they don't even give names to most of the characters.
That's true.
Like they don't even have to because you're that into the stories.
The main character has a name.
Nope,
He doesn't.
He is Hero
Wait,
Boy.
He doesn't?
No, he is Hero Boy. There's literally like
is he literally called Hero Boy?
Look on the IMDb. He is listed as Hero Boy, and the African American girl is listed as Hero Girl. I believe the one kid that follows them along, he has a name, but most of the time not even the credits do they give him the name.
I think the nerdy kid has a name.
He is called Know It All.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought he had a name.
He might, but like if you look at the credits, almost all of them are known by like the nicknames or what people would just call them in general. Because like, I mean, if your main characters don't have names, your other ones that do have names are just going to be known as like, oh yeah, that's the know-it-all.
And that's kind of like, you don't really need, it's kind of funny because you don't really need names.
No.
You know, you do and you don't.
I mean, like, in that movie, it's like, oh, you have the conductor, you have Santa Claus, you have the hobo. Like, most of them can be classified pretty easily. Because
everybody has a very
unique
role.
Yeah.
Everybody has a unique role.
Yeah. And so, like, I actually was curious because I just watched this movie like 3 days ago.
Mhm.
And I looked it up of like, was there any deleted scenes? Was there different things? And there were some deleted scenes that kind of explained things. And I'm like, I wonder if this movie classifies as a musical as well, because there are a couple of musical
Yeah.
numbers.
There's the hot chocolate. There's
Mhm.
that. I never liked it, but that's that song where they're singing about like, oh, I'm so sad because no one likes me on Christmas or whatever.
Fun fact, I actually caught when his character is first seen, the orchestra plays that song. I never caught that in the years before, but it starts playing before he runs on the train when they're just like staring at
The
him.
kid with the boots.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And they start like going away. It starts playing that song. So I'm like, oh my gosh, he sings that in like 15 minutes. And then
Yeah.
sure enough, it like when they
Mhm.
show him the next time again, they play that song. But after he makes a friend, it's never done again.
Huh.
So it's like, not only is he having a change in the movie, they're also giving an orchestra to show,
Yeah.
look, this change is happening. And like, it took me, let's see, like 16 years to catch it.
Yeah, that's like
So-
that's leitmotif for you. I mean,
Mhm.
that's an actual orchestral. When it comes to film scoring, I don't know if you know of that leitmotif
Yeah.
idea. Have you heard of that, Skylar?
What is it?
So leitmotif is basically like that not every, but like scoring films so that characters, places, themes, or objects have a theme, a musical theme.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is really easy to pinpoint in movies like Lord of the Rings, right? Where you have like The Ring has a theme song.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? The Shire has a theme song. So
Mhm.
anytime, Samwise goes, "Oh, Mr. Frodo, we're gonna make it, Mr. Frodo," and then you na 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 na.
Mhm.
They're talking about the Shire or whatever, right? So, so that's leitmotif, and so that's a good example of it. I think you have a
Yeah,
kid
it
who
is.
has it. There's that theme that's attached to him.
Yeah,
which is
lonely kid.
Lonely
And then
Kid.
it doesn't get played again once
Right.
he's no longer lonely.
Right.
So
that's cool. I never noticed. I have to rewatch that one. It's been a little while
I have it
since
if
I've
you want to
seen
borrow it. But
Well, I mean, it's on demand or whatever.
is it?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. I don't know. I've seen it. I guess it's my turn.
Well, you are the third person.
I am the third person since we had 3 people cancel. Not naming names, but no hard feelings, guys, when you listen to this.
All the hard feelings.
He hates all of you.
Man, I hope so.
Actually, I just realized 4 people because we had to change it because of the initial one that we didn't even talk to, but not the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's true. Man, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint my favorite Christmas film, but like if you got to choose one, like if I forced to watch it every year for the rest of my life, probably Elf.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's still funny. It's still funny. Like year after year, I still laugh at the same parts. There's some things that I don't find as funny, but I find different jokes funny now that I'm older and I understand different things.
I did not know that was Zoe Deschanel.
Right?
Yeah, because
And
when
she's blonde.
yeah, blonde, and she cut her hair, and it's like, oh, that's Zoe Deschanel.
Right. And you're kind of like, does she age? Like I saw her in a TV show the other day and I was like, this came out this year. Like,
I don't even know how old she is, actually.
she's got to be in her 40s.
Gotta
be.
probably mid to late 30s.
I don't know. Because Elf was like
2004, I think.
2003 or 4. All these films are from 2003 or
No,
4.
seriously. There was like some weird film renaissance during that time.
Seriously.
Yeah. For Christmas movies, at least. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
There's a lot of good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Christmas movies and just good movies in general. I mean, Finding Nemo was like 2003.
Was the Lord of the Rings finishing up around that time?
Around that time.
Yeah.
So, very
Um,
interesting.
Oh, and I was listening to the film score for Howl's Moving Castle, and that's 2004. So
What was going on at that?
I don't
point?
know. People were just
It
smarter.
was like a year before Batman Begins.
Honestly,
came out.
I really
Oh,
do
that's true.
think the reason that time the movie started getting really good is because they got all this new technology.
because of 9/11.
No, new technology like computers. Gosh.
Thanks 9/11 for all the good films in the following years. Anyway,
Wow, that was horrible.
I'm not editing that out.
Oh,
It's not right, but it's
Preston, we have to run now.
Yeah.
Oh, who's gonna come on? Anyway, so
Twitter finds a way.
I don't care about Twitter. I'm not even on Twitter. Who is on Twitter anymore?
Not me.
Good. Don't get there's no reason to be on there. It's a cesspool. So yeah, anyway, Elf. It's got a great score. It's the debut film for the main oh my gosh.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell.
No,
Really?
you're wrong.
No.
You are wrong.
No,
actually.
he did a couple of movies before.
It was like his first lead role.
Mm-mm,
I'm
still
pretty
wrong.
sure.
No.
He had Night at the Roxbury
Yeah.
before that.
Was he
and
the
Old
lead in
School.
that?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was. So Old School and Night at the
He wasn't
Roxbury.
a lead in, he wasn't the lead in Old School.
Okay, but in Night at the
He was-
Roxbury,
he was-
there was two main characters, and even in the posters and everything, there's two main characters, and he's one of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
And because that was an SNL spinoff film,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's also awful.
Yeah, I never watched the whole thing. I always saw like the beginning.
Same, and I cannot make it through.
No, it's not.
I
it's
better
that good.
not tell my mom to hear this because she likes that movie.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
Actually, I have a friend that loves that
no,
movie.
no hate
Yeah.
for anybody that likes that film. It's just not my thing.
Same.
But I think what Elf kind of did for Will Ferrell's career was it kicked off his like every film he does, he's a man child.
Yeah.
And so Elf was kind of like the start of that, where they're like, oh, he just plays like a really good man child idiot.
But like somehow they're all unique. It's not like over and over. Like each person, like if you showed me how they acted and not even with their quotable lines, I probably could still guess which movie or which character they are because it's like he does it so well.
Yeah. I would say like probably the least original version of that is probably Holmes and Watson.
Yeah,
That one was-
that was not
That was
good.
pretty bad.
A movie so bad, people started walking out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't walk out of it because I think I saw it. Oh, I saw it on demand at my friend's house, and we were just like, drinking or whatever, and we're like, hey, let's just watch this. We heard it's terrible. It was bad. I mean,
I will say it wasn't nearly as bad as I heard, but at the same time, I don't think I laughed as much at all. Really,
I laughed at like exactly probably two of the jokes.
I think I'm.
There was one that I thought was actually legitimately funny, where they were like setting up that whole thing with the woman doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, women can't be doctors," and this whole
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
and like setting it up, and she's like this empowered woman thing, right? And I was like, "Yeah, okay, they're gonna do that, haha, funny, men hate women sort of thing, right?" And then they turn it around, and he's like, "Oh, I've heard of you. You've done all sorts of things on electroshock therapy for homosexuals or whatever." And then she just replies with the whole like, "Oh yes, I found the more electricity you use, the more demons come out." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
you flipped me around on that one. You set me up and you knocked me down. That was pretty funny."
like I said, there are a couple good ones in there, and then but for the most part, where that one person is just acting as a cat the entire film, it just
Yeah.
felt so out of place. But anyways, we're not talking about Holmes and Watson.
Oh man. Oh, and she was in that movie, The Wrong Missy. Did you watch that film?
No.
Oh my goodness.
The what?
The Wrong Missy.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's a Netflix original, I think, with David Spade and that I don't even remember that chick's name.
No idea.
It's insane, and she just acts like a crazy person for the whole film. So it's just that cat thing, but she's the main character of the film, practically. She's like, or is like the secondary character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe watch it if you have nothing else to watch, but I don't know. So that's kind of one of my favorites is Elf. Any other favorites you guys have?
I do want to talk about Elf actually a little more.
Okay.
Because they just came out with like a Netflix series, that Christmas Movies That Made Us.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even have Netflix, but I saw an article about it. I'm like, oh, okay, because it was talking about Elf in particular.
Yeah.
Fun fact, a lot of that movie, there's almost like no CGI or anything. It's all perspective shots, like even when they're making him look enormous.
Yep.
And like they'll have like basically where he's sitting on children at different points. Like seriously, where he would be sitting on a child, and then what's the guy's name? That was like his dad. He's a popular actor.
Yeah. I don't
Which
remember.
dad? Elf dad?
Yeah, Elf Dad.
Elf dad.
No,
I don't remember.
Yeah. Newman? No.
Bob Newhart.
Newhart, yes. Anyways, but like they basically had his head on one side and like a child's legs that he was sitting on the others. Like seriously, like they showed some of the shots and they're hilarious. So like you see all the different stuff and the love that was put into that movie, and then the whole like him in New York scene.
Mm-hmm.
All those people weren't actors.
Yeah, the apparently the part where he walks up to the guy in the red jumpsuit and goes, "Santa?" That was just a guy.
Yep.
He's just walking down the street, and this dude in an elf costume literally goes up and asks him if he's Santa. That's pretty funny.
Well,
I gotta
and
say.
like honestly, that entire sequence was hilarious anyways, but it gets 10 times better when you know all these people are not in on the joke at all.
Mhm.
And just being New York, they're just
like
ignoring
even
him.
even the scenes where he's like taking all the pamphlets.
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
that's totally like that's why they start like fighting him basically,
Oh my
because
gosh.
of course New York.
That's,
And they're
that's
like,
New
yeah.
York for you, I
Yeah.
guess.
And so that's the hilarious thing. Is then what's even funnier is they would have to go get NDAs from all these people to approve their image. So not only, I'm sure there's tons that didn't get in the film that were hilarious, but the people were like, "There's bees in my teeth," and they're like, "Well, we can't get him to sign this."
There's bees in my teeth.
I'm saying just people like drugged
Just
up
crazy,
in New York.
crazy people. Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I mean, like they said they were just lucky he didn't get decked, pretty much.
Yeah. No, that's pretty funny. I mean, and there's a lot of great little scenes from that film. Yeah, from the on the street stuff, and
You're an angry little elf.
oh my god, could you even do that today?
With Peter Dinklage, probably.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess
mean,
Peter
like-
Dinklage seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised he took that role, though, the more you learn about Peter Dinklage, because he basically fights any role that is like, oh, you're going to be an elf. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. And they're like, oh, okay, because he
It was
doesn't.
probably really early in his career.
I don't think so, because
Mm-mm.
technically
Oh.
he fights, like, I mean, he's beating up a giant, for one thing. And then two, he's like kept calling him elf and he kept basically saying, no, I'm not an elf. And so, like, I see it as like just outside of the purview enough where like they're making fun of him for it, but he gets the last laugh and literally jumping him and being like this
Yeah.
incredibly strong like
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even realize either that that John Favreau is in the film.
John Favreau directed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Who
didn't.
did he play in there?
He's the doctor.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Now I remember.
Yeah. I'm like watching this film, like, oh my gosh, he's also in Four Christmases,
Yeah, you're right.
which is a
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn film. I didn't watch that until this year. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you look at Favreau's career now, and of course we're like, oh yeah, Favreau, like because he's touching Mando and everything,
Right.
and like that's amazing, and the only thing we love in Star Wars at this point. And basically, at that point, he didn't have anything. There wasn't any like
Mhm.
giant film of his. Like, you tell me what was a film he directed before that, and you probably can't think of one.
Before
Elf.
Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because there was Zathura.
That was after.
Yeah, that's. But I'm saying, and then after that, he did the Iron Mans.
Yep.
And then, I mean, he basically went blank for a long time where we didn't see anything. But my point being is, you look at he started the MCU, and then you also look like, so basically he helped architect all that. Because if Iron Man flopped, all that would have flopped. So,
Yeah.
and then you have him also with, he decided to make a Christmas movie, and it's instant holiday classic.
Yeah.
And then he decides to make a Star Wars thing, and then it's an instant hit. So like almost anything, like he's had a couple flops, but almost
we don't
anything.
talk about The Lion King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think because we grew up with that movie, we see it subjectively different.
But if you think about it, John Favreau was probably offered the fattest check of his life
Probably.
to do that.
And probably was thinking about The Mandalorian.
And what can you say no? Like Frank, okay, listen. If you were a director, let's just say even if you were already successful,
Mhm.
and Disney comes to you and says, "We want you to remake insert incredibly popular film."
Yeah, I mean, like, arguably one of their most popular films of all time.
Right. Can you say no? Can you really you say on principle, I would never remake that. But would you really say no?
It depends on the check.
Dude, I mean, that check had to be fat.
Oh, it had to be. One, because he did the Jungle Book first.
Which
Yeah.
was actually very good.
I actually thought the Jungle Book
That was-
remake was not bad.
That
Yeah,
was
I
fun.
mean, like, pretty much Lion King was shot for shot remake, but like
Right.
even in the Jungle Book, they're like, whoever's narrating goes, "Well, this is not the story you remember," and then like the wolf Shere Khan kills the wolf and everything.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
I need to watch it again because
yeah.
I actually remember enjoying it.
Oh, it was awesome.
And then I got confused because that was when they started doing the remakes,
Mm-hmm.
and some other studio released that Tarzan film.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, is this one of the remakes?"
Mm-mm.
And it's not. I mean, but
That one was I think Warner Brothers.
it was. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it
someone had told me that it was, and when I went into the film, I was like, "I don't think Disney would have made this."
No.
And it wasn't a good film anyway. The guy was jacked though. Man, that guy was ripped.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna play Monkey Man,
he-
I know.
you gotta be.
Well, he's a Norseman.
Anyways, but
Yeah, we're talking about Jon Favreau, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're totally out in the weeds here.
anyways, my point being is Favreau like touches things and they become instant classics
Yeah.
and wonderful, and like that director is honestly one of the big up and coming directors, and it's kind of funny to see that it only took like 12 years after that film for him to finally get like really going.
recognized.
Yeah.
What I'd like to see Favreau do something that's like, I don't know. I don't want to say like an art film or like something pretentious, but like
Watch Chef.
I liked Chef.
Yeah.
I watched that recently. It was a good film.
Yeah.
I gotta say. I mean, it wasn't like the most deep, incredible film I ever saw in my life. I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting. I just wanted to. I would like to see him do something different because he
A
does.
little bit riskier.
He does. Yeah, he does genre films really well.
Mm-hmm.
He does sci-fi. He does all that kind of stuff. I think he's great at that. But I just want to see him like do something really different and unique.
Wait a minute, didn't he also do Cowboys versus Aliens?
Did he?
I cannot confirm or deny that. I don't know.
I didn't watch that film.
I'm pretty sure I remember from the director of Iron Man. It's been a long time.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you'd have to look that up.
But I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams was part of it too.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Abrams.
It sounds like a J.J. Abrams film.
Gosh. Jar Jar Abrams.
Anyways.
We should just have JJ remake all the Christmas films we like.
Yeah.
We can ruin all of them.
They'll just do time travel and be dead at the end.
Oh
But
my gosh.
I wanted to talk about something else too. What we've talked about the good films and what makes a Christmas movie Christmas. And so what are the worst Christmas movies?
I mean, we sort of talked about this very briefly before the podcast. The worst one that I can remember is Christmas with the Cranks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I can understand.
I personally, I watched it like maybe twice, and actually, JonTron has a really funny video about this movie, and where he kind of just describes where he's like, "What is this film about?" But I just don't recall. Like, there's nothing about that film that makes me want to endeavor to rewatch it. I just, it seems like a chore to me. I don't know. Maybe that's not everybody's opinion, but as me, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also based on a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but from what I heard, it's a little bit different because it's a bit more satirical.
I don't know. That movie.
I don't-
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as like a, cutting satire.
Well, because it's directed by Chris Columbus.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who that is.
He's director of the first Harry Potter films.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, go figure.
Well, they have Christmas in it too, so.
That's true. Harry Potter films are Christmas films.
Yep. Nah, we've already established holiday films. The whole new genre we're making over here.
Yeah. What about you, Skylar?
Oh yes, there. Have you ever guys heard of Rhapsody Street Kids Believe in Santa?
No.
This sounds like something you had to find off the internet. Like somebody made a video about it, and you went, "I want to watch this."
Yes, it was from the Nostalgia Critic.
Oh my gosh.
It's it's an animated movie from 2002, made on a string shoe budget.
Okay.
It's nightmare fuel. It's horrible. Every time a character looks at the screen, you feel them looking into your soul.
Okay.
And what is it? What the main character's grandmother is speaking, not even a language. It's like blah, 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 blah. I'm not joking. That's not even an exaggeration.
Is kind of like that character from Fat Albert.
Oh no, not you. Because I can understand that. This one, it's just random words.
So more like Swedish Chef from the Muppets?
Yeah.
Just
close. It's close to that.
Spurdy.
Although I will say you can actually understand them if you listen really close.
Yeah.
This is not where it gets weird. It's the voice cast of this movie that's weird.
Okay.
Okay. This guy I know because he's a former Power Ranger, Walter Email Jones. He's the original Black Ranger. He plays the main character. And a character named Eric, he comes at the literal end of the movie, and guess who he's played by?
I'm going to guess Samuel L. Jackson.
No, Mark Hamill.
Oh my gosh.
And
he had some low points in his career, that's for sure.
Yeah, this came out in 2002, so no, this was during.
I mean, he would have still been voicing Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, what else was he doing around that time?
Around that time, mainly just Joker and cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much. And was it Paige O'Hara is in this?
I don't know.
Nancy Cartwright, she's one of the voices from The Simpsons. I think
Is she Bart?
I'm pretty sure she's Bart.
Oh, okay.
And Jodie Benson, never heard of her.
Wait, who?
Jodie Benson.
That's Ariel.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, like honestly, that's Ariel from Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Great Leslie. What's her name? Azula.
Oh,
Grade Desile?
wow.
I've never was able to say her last name.
Yeah, Azula. Also Daphne Blank from Scooby Doo. She's huge in the animation world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. This is the grandma, Deborah Wilson. I've never heard of her. Clint Howard. He's the brother to Ron Howard.
Oh, yeah.
And some other names. It's mostly those ones.
I was going to say that, like, that's kind of a stacked cast.
There's more, but these guys have like nothing, no Wikipedia page.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because you do have people in there that are mainly voice actors, but I mean, honestly, it sounds like they knew it was going to be a D movie making it.
Yeah.
Just by that cast alone.
And it's the ending that is just weird.
So, like, what is the plot of the film? Like, what is it about?
Oh, gosh. It's basically this guy named Ricky Rogers. And whenever he speaks, it kind of always feels like he's trying to rap or he rhymes.
Okay.
Like, it's his entire line. It's all his lines are like rhymes. It's weird. And he tries to befriend this girl by giving her his teddy bear.
That's how it works. You didn't know that?
No, I did
You
not.
must not have many friends then.
Guess you don't have many female friends.
You got to give the teddy bear.
You got to give him a teddy bear.
And I don't know. It's a weird movie. I think she like destroys it. And then there's singing montages.
That's also normal.
For Christmas movies, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like they even try to make these characters dance, but she danced, but because of the animation.
Is it CGI or?
Yes, CGI.
Okay.
2002 would have been some pretty grotesque CGI too, if you're not Pixar.
Yeah, I about to say if you're not on top of the game,
It's a movie I can't really describe all that well. You guys have to just watch it.
Okay. Well,
And
what is it called again?
I mean, Rhapsody Street Kids Believe in Santa.
That is the most catchy name for a film I've ever heard.
And this movie even has the goal to advertise a sequel that never came out. And it was about the Easter Bunny.
No.
So they wanted these kids to
They
go
wanted-
through all of, like, the holidays.
They wanted the holiday cinematic universe.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Rhapsody cinematic universe.
And Mark Hamill has like the best final line in this. He says, "Shut that door," and they slam the door shut. And that's how the movie
That's
ends.
how the movie ends. What are they doing? Like torturing somebody?
Making you watch a movie like that, probably.
Yeah, you just have to search it. I think it's on YouTube for free.
Oh my gosh.
You know it's a bad movie.
That
if
tells
it's
you.
not- Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you something, doesn't it?
It's basically Food Fight.
Oh man. You know that one, Preston?
I've watched little clips, but never watched the whole thing.
Oh.
It looks so
Food
bad.
Fight would be like an entire podcast.
Yeah. Really, Food Fight would belong on a podcast episode about like just, I don't even know what you'd call them, like films that are clearly money laundering
Mhm.
schemes. Like just terrible films that take 10 years to make for no reason. And that film has a great voice cast
Yes,
too.
it does.
Actually, it was made for a reason. It basically, have you heard the original things were stolen? The original dailies, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if they were just trying to like, okay, well, we have to completely remake the film because
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
But
That might be a good episode. Actually, we should do something like that.
Food Fight would be perfect.
Gosh.
It's such a mess.
That film is pretty horrendous as well.
And the jokes,
what
the
about
puns.
what about you, Preston? What's your least favorite holiday
I'm going to go.
Christmas film?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Home Alone 3 because
It's not even a Christmas movie. Oh wait,
technically is.
it's been a long time.
It is. And that's, you honestly just proved a point. It is totally forgettable. You have Macaulay Culkin, who's in the first two movies. You don't have him in the
I was
third.
about to say they replaced him,
Yeah.
didn't they?
They take him away from the third. So he honestly carried the first two movies because
Yeah.
it's mainly just him by himself the whole movie. So if you don't have a likable kid in the role, the movie is going to stink. And that's kind of what happened with this. And then two, just like the slapstick wasn't up to par. And then like your burglars in the first two movies are actually played by really popular actors who have
Mhm.
done great things and did the comedic roles great. And then you just get the budget burglars in the third one where it's
the
just
Hamburglar.
yeah, pretty much.
The only thing memorable from that film is that it has a young Scarlett Johansson in there as one of the as the sister.
Oh.
Yeah, she's in there.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, so basically for me, it's just that because you have this fantastic franchise and going away, because I believe it had a theoretical release, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
it was the
So,
last one.
Yeah,
before.
it's supposed, like, to me,
A
that should have,
theoretical? Oh, you mean a theatrical?
that one
release.
too.
I was like, it took a second there. I was like, a theoretical?
Yeah.
Released in theory or in actual?
this movie released in theory.
Wait.
It was released in my mind.
It might have released, who knows?
It was released because somebody wanted money. That's the theory. The
Yeah.
theory
Well,
of
yeah.
money.
That's like how they keep making Beethoven films. You know, like Beethoven.
oh, the dog one.
The dog one.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, I haven't seen too many musical movies about Beethoven.
I mean,
Well, it's also a reason why the Best Buddy series.
oh my God, there's so many. There's so many buddies films.
Well, they have like the space buddies too.
Yes.
Yeah.
and they also became superheroes.
Yeah,
Yes.
where it's like the pup buddies or whatever they call
Wait,
that.
there's a
series.
Christmas buddies, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, there's several.
and there's a spin-off to it. No, a prequel to it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that's to me because they went with a theater release when that should have been like a home movie when they were trying to get those in like VHS and everything. Because when you don't have the original cast or like not even one of the original cast, you
Right.
can't call it under that title.
I'm pretty sure the mom was played by the original mom.
Well, I'm saying
Well, she was a
of-
crackhead and needed the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying any of the people like the burglars or Macaulay Culkin. I mean, like you don't have any of the heart, then you're going to have a film that's basically Frankenstein walking around with all these assorted parts missing a heart, and it just
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Then there's
Right.
the fourth film where they try to bring back the characters, but none of the actors.
I didn't even know there's a fourth one.
Yeah,
There's a
this is
fifth one.
actually news to me.
Yeah, there's a fourth and fifth one.
Those have got to be direct to video,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
The-
yeah.
and
The fourth
see-
one has Kevin again, but not played by Macaulay
Okay.
Culkin.
But my point being, if it's a home video release, you just expect it to be bad. Like, it's not meant to be good. But if you go to theaters, they
Except
at least,
for Aladdin and the 40 Thieves. That movie
Okay.
slaps.
I will say
Yeah.
the Aladdin home videos were actually fantastic. Like Return of Jafar, the Thieves one, all of those were actually awesome.
I never saw Return of Jafar. Well, maybe I saw it once.
I think it's on Disney Plus.
Jafar is okay.
Yeah, but 40 Thieves is dope.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that
it's
film
really
is
good.
actually good.
Now I want to go rewatch.
I got to
that.
rewatch that
Yeah.
one too. I know. I'm like,
I want the Aladdin live action sequel just to be the third one.
Well, they've pretty much said like they're not gonna follow what the home videos did, because people were like, "Oh, they're gonna bring the home videos back for Aladdin," and yeah, they're like, "Oh, no, we're actually not."
so they're not
Yeah.
gonna do the interesting thing with his father. If they
well,
like where his father's actually like the Prince of Thieves or whatever it is.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely okay. This is way off, and we're gonna go back to Christmas stuff after I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
this. But there's a theory that basically his father wasn't around at all, like didn't exist, like was dead, and Genie like basically made his father the king of thieves so he could
Oh,
become
be
a
the
prince.
prince.
Yes, in the first movie, and I mean, it's actually plausible because if he
Yeah.
became the king of thieves, like.
But wouldn't Aladdin? Wouldn't the genie like say something about that?
I don't know.
He's like,
Genies are supposed to be
but
mischievous.
genies don't bring the dead back to life.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying dead. I'm saying maybe he was like a deadbeat somewhere,
Oh.
and then
Oh,
becomes like the
maybe.
king of thieves, because it's like, yeah, who's a king of thieves? That's not a real
Yeah.
job title until
well,
Genie's just like, hey,
It
you're the king of
depends.
thieves now.
It depends. Isn't the guy from Die Hard? I mean, he's kind of a king of thieves, right?
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber. He's kind of a king of thieves.
I mean,
well, he is the half blood
I mean,
prince.
it's sort of it's a job,
I mean,
kind of.
I wouldn't say it's a king though.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's the German, the Führer of.
But, like how I
thieves.
said, he's the half blood prince.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about this. We're going to come back to Christmas, but you mentioned like how he made his father the king or whatever, right? And I was watching Aladdin actually this week, because I had nothing else to do this one day. Actually, many of the days in the last couple of weeks, because I got the coof, guys. I'm over it now, but I had the coof.
Don't believe him.
Well, I can send you my papers. I got tested and all that crap. But anyway, and so I was watching the film, and I was just thinking, like, where did all these servants and dancers, like, did he materialize these people out of thin air and like give them like backstories and histories, or like the second they're off screen, do they just like poof and go away?
Oh, who knows? I mean, technically, he can't bring anything to life, so maybe he just pulled
Well,
them.
no, he can't bring anything back to life. He can't raise the dead. He
Yeah.
never said not creating life.
That's true, but I feel like
So
that
he
would be in
couldn't
the
make
same-
when he couldn't make you fall in love. But what if you made him make a woman that was perfect for you? Could you do that? Would that technically be breaking the rule?
I think this is a whole nother.
That's a
podcast.
whole other podcast.
You would have to go into like jinn mythology and all that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and then like, yeah, genies are always mischievous, always have separate rules, and I mean,
That's
they
true.
had to make certain rules for that movie to work, or else
Mhm.
it would have been like, Genie, make her fall in love with me. Genie, do this. Genie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, which I mean, the simple rule literally would have been like, hey, Genie, she needs to marry a prince. Can you make that go away? Oh yeah, like I will make that one specification go away, and then he wouldn't even needed two other wishes.
yeah.
So
That's
but
kind of
that would have been a lot quicker film.
Yeah, the plot wouldn't have existed. It wouldn't have been.
No.
Wouldn't have been as fun. You wouldn't have gotten the Prince Ali song. I mean, that
That's such a
song
good
slaps.
Yes, it does.
Not the live action version, the original.
I didn't. I watched about half of the live action version, so I think it was after that song that I saw the rest of the film.
Yeah, the live action one is surprisingly slow. That's
Hmm.
basically it's like
Well, and part of it ruins the pacing because they add an entirely new song, or at least one. They might have two.
It was Jasmine.
It was the jazz, and that it just kind of. Why was it there? It didn't do anything to help the flow of the film.
This is a whole different subject.
It is.
We can talk about.
It is. Okay.
We can crap on the live action remix.
This is just the Aladdin podcast now.
Well, Aladdin's good, so.
Okay. What other are there any favorite non-Christmas films to watch around Christmas time?
Batman Returns.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's set around Christmas time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck, the bats that attack everybody comes from a Christmas tree.
Oh man. I actually have a confession to make.
What?
I have not seen any Batman films other than the Nolan films.
Good choice.
What? I've heard that they're good.
I mean, they're good, but
Batman Returns is just weird.
Here's the thing, though. Those movies are fun in their own right, but like they don't connect to any larger universe. And anymore, if you're watching a superhero movie, you kind of gotta watch them in order in the larger universe. So those are, I guess they're standalone films, so you could go back and watch them anytime.
Right.
So there's no like overarching like series of things that you have to follow, really.
Mm-hmm.
But although I will say, Adam West Batman, it goes hard.
Okay, I have another.
I've watched a couple of
They're so good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I have another one. I think it's The Nativity Story.
Was that a recent film?
No, this is an old one. This came out like maybe mid to late 2000s.
Was it just a retelling of?
Yeah, Jesus' birth.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But I was kind of saying non-Christmas films. Like, are there any films you watch during the holidays because your family just likes a particular film or something?
No, it's really around Christmas time. It's Christmas movies.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, for a repetitive watch like that, there aren't many things that you rewatch because when you're like, oh, this is the only season of year I hear people say like they watch only this type of movie. Because any other time of the year, it's like free range of whatever you want to watch, however many times you want to rewatch a certain movie. It's like, oh, it's March. Let's watch Pirates of the Caribbean. No one does that. It's like, but Christmas time brings in this, oh, we need to watch a movie that ties in this holiday season.
Right. And you can't you feel like such a jackass watching Elf in the middle of July.
Yeah.
It's a great film any time of the year, but why would you do it? What's wrong with you?
Well, I made the joke this year. I actually just watched Die Hard for the first time, right before Thanksgiving. I said,
really?
I'm like, I know it's a little early for a Christmas movie, but we're going to watch this. And I turned it on, and by the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, it really was a Christmas movie. I was just making a dumb joke based off the internet. And I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, no, it's a good film in its own right. I think you can watch that any time of the year, and it's still a fine film to watch.
Yeah, but anyways, my point being is I don't have any movies that I watch on a time schedule like Christmas movies, so nothing else besides Christmas movies during this time.
My family does like to watch. I feel like Harry Potter's kind of always in the mix.
Yeah, but like we said, technically a holiday film. I guess
so, but man, I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard one. That's a different one. You know what? One I do appreciate is Nightmare Before Christmas because you can, if I don't watch it in Halloween, I can watch it in Christmas. And if I'm like, I don't want to watch it this Christmas, I'll just watch it on Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's you get a couple of chances, good on you. How do I forget his name? The director, Burton. Oh my goodness.
No, Burton's not the director.
He's not the director.
That's a whole can of worms because he wrote the story, but I guess he barely ever walked in for executive producing and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he did not direct the film. But even though it's called Tim Burton's Night Before Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he probably did the character.
Yes, he made the characters.
Yeah,
he wrote the story and everything.
He didn't write the script though.
Yeah, but the poem that it's based on was his.
Oh, okay.
So basically, he breathed it into existence, and they just kind of were like, "Well, his name's big, so let's just slap his name on the top of it, and people will watch this."
You know what's interesting was I think initially it was going to be a TV special. It wasn't actually going to be a film. and they were trying to make like a kind of a goofy, twisted version of like the 1964 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and like stuff like that, the old claymated films that you'd always see of, and it ended up they were just like, oh, it's just turning into a film. Let's just make a whole budget film, and do this. Yeah, and it's a good film. I mean, I don't know, it's fun. It's got good music. It's got Oingo Boingo.
Yeah. Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, who does the voice of Jack Skellington.
Only the singing voice.
Yes, only the singing voice. So that's kind of interesting. Does a good job. You almost can't tell. When I rewatched the film a couple weeks ago or whatever, and was like the difference between the speaking voice and the singing voice is really like not that different.
I've thought about that before where I'm like, they almost should have just had Danny Elfman do the whole thing. Or because obviously they had to bring in Danny Elfman because the other guy couldn't sing. So it's like, but if Danny Elfman can sing, then he could also do the audio of like just regular talking. So it's like, just have him rather than pay two guys. To me, it's just a smarter decision.
I mean, maybe Danny Elfman was just too busy doing the music.
Yeah, because I mean, he did compose it.
Yeah, he composed it. So that's a lot of work.
Oh, tons
to make. Because like when you think about it, if you writing an album is hard, and an album might be 30 minutes, 45 minutes of music. A score for a film could be potentially longer, and usually they're far more complicated. There's more instruments. There's lots of scheduling problems because you have to get an entire orchestra and it's super expensive. And so, yeah, it's a whole process. I can't imagine like scoring a film and singing in the film on top of like acting and everything else you have to do.
That's very true. I didn't think about
that would probably be really crazy.
I mean, but the thing is, with that, I'm wondering if like he was originally supposed to be the voice, like the singing voice, or if he just like recorded the songs to see how they would like go in rhythm. And they're like, oh wait, this sounds like our guy. Or if they hired a guy to sound like Danny Elfman singing.
I can't remember why they did that.
Yeah, because I mean, definitely in the like 95 period of time frame, you have like Scott Wagner, who is in Full House and everything, DJ's boyfriend. He
never watched the show.
Oh, okay. He's Aladdin in the original film. Could not sing, so they bring in another guy, Brad Kane, to do the music in that, singing it. And so you have all this time frame where people started, the actors not having to be able to sing anymore. So it wasn't like this, you have to sing, you have to be like the Broadway star, we're just going to put you in an animated feature. It became, we just want a good speaking voice, and then we'll bring in a good singer that sounds like that person. And so,
which is kind of a shame in a way, I just feel like there's something you lose when you have that. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, definitely the person doesn't have the same heart, but you can get a better singer, like we're saying. And like Danny Elfman was definitely on that curve where he definitely was one of the first ones. And it's a Disney movie, which Disney was one of the first animation to start doing that. When they made that change, they were kind of at the forefront.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now I remember in what was it, Pocahontas, and they had Mel Gibson was the voice of John, whatever his name is, John Smith.
Yes,
is that what it is? And the singing voice is so mismatched. And it's a really, really bad fit.
Actually, watch it was a anime King Arthur movie, Saving Quest for Camelot.
Oh yeah, I heard that was a nightmare in production.
Yeah, but Carrie Elways plays the main love interest, and when his character sings, totally different person.
Oh man.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is like, it can be done good and it can be done bad, and especially in a holiday movie like Nightmare Before Christmas, you have to have a certain vibe like about the singing, because there's like, it obviously is a Halloween movie, but it's also a Christmas movie. So for them to be able to combine those two themes and music alone is very impressive, because like Halloween, you got like scary and everything, but Christmas is more like fluffy and light and like enjoyable. And somehow they meet both perfectly. Like I think of the What's This song, and like that is 100% Halloween and 100% Christmas. And it's
Yeah.
so weird that you can have 200% in a song, but it's like, no, it's not 50-50. Like it goes 100%
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah, it slaps. It's pretty good. I gotta say, and even the score beyond that is just very well crafted and easy, fun to listen to. Um, you know what other movie has some pretty fun music in it that's a Christmas film is the Muppet Christmas Carol.
One of my favorites.
That's a good one.
That is a great film. I've watched recently. I watched there's the Disney I don't want to say remake. Because there's really no such thing as a remake of that story. But
the
like
Jim Carrey.
the Jim
version.
Carrey one, and that one's kind of cool. Actually, the animation's a little dated now.
I believe that was also motion capture.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
because
that one
Jim
was-
Carrey was
Yeah,
all the version of Scrooge, and I think he was also the ghosts.
I think so.
Well, and I think they were trying to Polar Express that movie, honestly.
Yes.
When you look
Yes.
at motion capture, main person being like almost all the characters, like that was 100% Polar Express.
And you know what I do like about that version is that it really pushes into the horror aspect of the story,
Mhm.
and it does a really good job with some of the visual I think it's probably closer to the original story, actually, in terms of how they represent visually some of the characters, and like the first ghost having the light stopper on
Mhm.
it, so he like snuffs it out at the end and all that kind of stuff. And it's fun to watch these different versions of Christmas Carol because there's things that cross over, and you're like, okay, that's probably original to the source, because I've never read the original. That's original. That's probably not original. Like, I'm sure, obviously Tiny Tim singing "Bless Us All," is probably not in the book. Obviously, it's not in the book, right? But you find other elements that are in the other versions, and it's just kind of fun to watch. Like, I watched the Patrick Stewart's version, which was in maybe the early 2000s or the 90s or something. He has a version of Christmas Carol, and it's pretty good. It wasn't bad, but like out of all the versions I've watched, like Muppet is it's the most fun.
yeah.
It's the most fun version of the story.
Was it the Ghost of Christmas Present? Have you ever noticed that he will always forget everything past, only remembering things present?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of great things about that film. And personally, I agree with you. I think that is my favorite iteration of the Christmas Carol. And the other one that's actually great is the Mickey Mouse one, which, it's very good if you ever have the time to watch it.
Whereas,
Probably Disney Plus.
is
you can find
is it called Mickey Mouse's
Christmas
Christmas?
Carol? I think
it's
so.
with Scrooge
Yeah.
McDuck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
But it's honestly really good. But I still think I'm with you where the Muppet one is probably the best iteration. And it's because of Michael Caine playing it straight.
Yes.
Michael Caine literally said when he got on that movie, like, I'm going to play it like I'm in the West End Theater Company. And he pretends like he's not with Muppets at all.
Yes.
He's playing that so straight, and everything happening around him is just so zany, because it's like this guy plays a straight man
Mhm.
better than almost anybody, because he's just pretending like, how do you play this straight man when there's Muppets around?
Right.
Where you think it looks funny on the screen, but you think about it, there's people crawling around on the
Yes.
floor everywhere, and he's playing this straight.
And he's like acting mean to a little rabbit outside of his front door. Like, that's
Oh, the little rabbit with the big eyes.
yes.
yeah.
Did you guys know why they're so mean to it?
No.
Because everyone behind the scenes hated that thing.
Huh?
Yeah. I don't remember the explanation, but they hated that thing, and they will always have an excuse to destroy it.
Well, and the hilarious thing though too, and one of my very favorite parts of that whole film is in the beginning where there's all the cabbages in the cart.
Uh-huh.
And they're just like shouting at different things. We're like, don't eat us, don't eat us. And it's just so funny.
My
and
mom
like,
always said, never trust talking fruit.
yeah. And like, I literally, when that part comes up, like just almost cry with laughter because it's so hilarious. And like,
Or like the song where they're saying, the Scrooge song at the beginning, and the mice always finish the sentence with the wrong tense of mice or mouse. They said mices and mouses or whatever. It's just funny.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the little girl puppet that's like all floaty and ghosty, the amazing thing is that's actually filmed underwater, so that's not CGI or nothing.
I did not
was
know
about to say, that's practical.
That's
That's
practical
cool.
effect. And I mean, practical effect, like I was talking with Elf, is something that, if done correctly, is way better than anything that you could do CGI, and which is why the original Star Wars has such a charm to them.
Yes.
And so that movie, the Muppet movie, has almost fully practical effects with all the Muppets and the backgrounds and everything. And the only real thing is Michael Caine. So that movie for props is just hugely important in the Christmas world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's got great music too. I mean, the music slaps, except for, I don't like Bless Us All. I don't really like that song. And what actually, I noticed this when I watched it again recently. So we used to have the DVD version of it, and that was like essentially unedited. The version that you see on Disney Plus and on streaming is edited. They took an entire song out.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So did you hear what happened recently with this though?
No.
Oh, I thought you were leading there. Okay.
No.
So recently, like that song, it got taken out.
The love song.
Yes. And like they don't know where it went. Like it literally, no one could find it in their archives or anywhere. It was gone for like years, where they couldn't put it in Disney Plus because they literally could not find like an unedited film version to put it in there unless they wanted to steal from like a DVD, and it'd be like
Really
kind of
bad quality.
Yeah, like a bad quality. They couldn't clean it up like they couldn't remaster it with a film strip. Until like recently, they just found it. Like I believe this was like 2 weeks ago. They said they finally found it.
Wow.
So it'd been missing for like 10 years, and they finally found it, and they will put it in Disney Plus where you can watch it in its entirety now.
Okay.
Because like I guess they just kind of thought people didn't like that song.
It's like the problem is the song is actually one of the most integral moments of the film. It would be like cutting out the Magic Carpet Ride song. We're going back to Aladdin. It'd be like cutting
Aladdin comes back every time.
I know.
when we ranked all the Disney films, it comes back.
We can't get rid of Aladdin.
No.
But like it'd be like cutting that out of the film. It just doesn't make any sense. First of all, like structurally, it's not even close to the worst song in the film. And what's worse is the film. So like when he has the scene with, well, I don't even remember the girl's name. It's kind of inconsequential, but she's walking away, and then it plays that motif, right? It plays the motif from the song that they cut out. So there's really no reason for you to, if you never saw the original, you'd be like, there's no meaning behind that being played. And then when they finish the movie, it's that melody from the love is gone is the original lyrics to the love we found, or something like that. I think it's Love We Found. And that's what everybody sings at the end of the film. So it actually brings it back, and it's thematically important, but they just cut it out. Like, I don't understand why that happened.
Well, they pretty much cut it out because they thought children just didn't like it. And the problem with the Muppets is it's not for children. Like, it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, the Muppets were originally created for primetime TV. Much like a lot of animated characters of the early days, they were originally intended for adults, not even children.
Yeah.
It was like a cross-platform thing where it's like adults and children should find this funny. And before it became, if things are for children, they're very childlike, and if things are for adults, they're like beer and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like Muppets was something that was kind of in the middle. So for them to go, we need to pull this out because the children don't like it, that's dumb for the Muppet brand, because it's like Muppets is supposed to be universal, where there's parts that adults like and parts that children's like, because like all of it should be enjoyable by any audience member. Like children most likely don't like a lot of songs because like when I was a kid, I hated musicals. I love musicals now. Like I remember on the VHS players, I would go and crawl and fast forward through the songs and ironically, no, seriously, ironically, the one I remember doing that on is Aladdin.
Oh my gosh, why does Aladdin come back?
As I was saying that, I'm like, oh no, it is Aladdin.
No. By the way, let's get this out of the way. Disney Plus should have the Aladdin series.
They do.
They do?
Yeah, they have all those.
Yeah, even the remake, everything.
I know the remake, but I did not know about the
Prince of Thieves, the Return of Jafar,
yeah,
all of it.
They have the TV shows for like all the like all the 90s ones.
I know I'm watching after Phineas and Ferb.
There you go.
Never got into Phineas and Ferb.
It's a great show.
I'm on season 2 right now. It's really
Which they have a Christmas special too. It's actually really good.
They have a Star Wars special.
They have many specials.
They have a Marvel special.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe one of these days. I don't know.
Talk to Mark Trabtree. He'll sit down with you.
You know, that's the thing. The show just seems like I understand watching cartoons is kind of childish in a certain way. Sometimes it depends on what you're watching, I guess. But that show always came off to me as kind of like a little, childish to me.
I mean, here's the thing. They have the same structure every single episode. So you can basically pop in anytime, much like old Scooby-Doo's, where it's literally the same structure every time. And so it's almost comforting in that sense. And I can see the early first season being a little childlike. If you start in season 2, you'll like, which I wouldn't recommend, but it's more adult and everything. And 2, to watch the relationships with the characters grow is amazing. Like the gags grow better because the characters are growing closer. And it's awesome.
I have seen like a compilation of the Doofenshmirtz
stuff
funny. Where it's like describing how terrible his life is. And that is pretty funny.
Or like one of the best gags is the platypus. A platypus? And then like puts on the hat. Barry the platypus every time gets me because like they'll do different things where it's like a platypus balloon. It puts like the hat on. Barry the platypus balloon, and it's just like every time he's just so dumb.
Yeah,
and yet can make all these amazing things. Fun fact: I actually painted my trash can in my room a Perry the platypus, and I built a hat so I could be like a platypus trash can. Put on the hat of it and go Barry the platypus trash can.
So do you do this by yourself?
No, more for guests, but
okay.
Yeah, the hat doesn't go on until guests are around, just so I can do what.
Is that how you impress the ladies?
Yes.
You bring them into your bedroom and show them your platypus trash can.
That's giving what's happened on his wedding night.
Just like
okay, all that stuff aside about Perry the platypus, about whatever, we're kind of getting out in the weeds. I got one more thing to say. I just watched the Klaus original Netflix film.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't watched it, but I heard it's great.
So good. It's incredible. I was gonna watch it last year because I heard it was good, and I just never got around to it or whatever. But it is.
Oh, the one with J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
Yes, it's actually hand-drawn animation, which is a dying craft.
Right.
And it's so good. And like they explain like all the mythos of Santa perfectly. And
but
like
it's not stupid.
No.
Like a lot of these, I gotta, frankly, I'm not a big fan of the Santa thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's, I have like Christmas music playlists that I listen to and I've created, and I really like Christmas music, but I hate Santa stuff. I hate Santa music. I don't know why. It just kind of drives me up the wall. Like if I have kids, I don't know if I'm going to tell them Santa's real. I'm just not into it personally. But like this movie does it in such a way that is like tasteful. It's just not stupid. Like it's a fun film that's heartfelt. Like the main character is basically Kuzco.
Yeah.
In a way. And it's just
or Thor.
Yeah, it's like Kuzco mixed with Thor.
Yeah. Kind of like Thor. I'm gonna take your power. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. With all the mannerisms and the behavior sort of like Kuzco. But yeah, just the story itself is actually like very touching. I kind of found myself at the end of it being like a little emotional, even though I don't know, it's just a good film. If you haven't seen it, it's probably going to be in my rotation every year.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix anymore. But last year was the first time I watched that one. Well, it came out for the first time last year.
Yeah, yeah.
But I loved it and thought like everything about that film is so well written, and it's from the Despicable Me creator, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And
Oh, wow.
I mean, that film, like I said, explains everything perfectly. And then the end, when like he dies and everything, it's like, oh, okay. So then somebody else picks up the mantle. The only thing I didn't really like is it's like, oh, Santa's ghost here basically delivers presents everywhere.
But that kind of
the
makes
rest of the time.
sense.
Like, it makes sense.
Because the film is constrained, like they're constrained physically, right? You know what I mean? Like they can't possibly go and give the whole world the presents because they're literally like, oh, we have to expand our operation. But if like Santa's a ghost or whatever, then he's a mythical creature. He can kind of do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and I mean they did back it up during the whole movie where like there was ghost things going on with his dead wife being like pushing things forward. And like I did like that little Icelandic girl that they go to. Like there's so many charming things
she's
about
like
that movie.
she's a Finn. She's a Laplander.
Yeah, whatever she is. And they just show things growing and changing and everything. And like at the end of the movie when like everybody's old and you get to see like where life is taking, like a lot of time jumps in movies are kind of jarring, but that one was done so naturally and so like I'm actually enjoying a time jump for once in my life. Yeah.
It was one of those where it gave me a feeling that I don't get from a lot of modern properties. I don't know how to explain that. Like some films now they come out and I'm sort of like, yeah, it was cool, but it doesn't give me that feeling.
Kind of that like childlike wonder.
Yeah. There's that, but there's also that sense of like that, I don't know, that sense of like he like grew up, he had responsibilities, he started being an adult. I don't know. Like a lot of the time movies, their kind of characters are kind of stuck in this childlike state. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I think when we were children, movies, we could just enjoy them without like tearing them apart.
Right.
And so when you can watch a movie without tearing it apart as an adult, you go, oh, wow, that was a good movie.
You know what? It actually reminds me, like I just recently rewatched the Full Metal Alchemist TV show. I just finished it. The ending of Klaus reminds me of the ending to that show. I don't know why. It gives me a similar feeling of like kind of like duty and honor and family and growing up. I don't know. It's just it really is a good movie. So if you're still listening to this podcast, we're wrapping up right now. Watch that film and enjoy your holiday season, whatever is going on, because I don't know if you can go see people now.
Yeah, depending where you're listening to this. If you're out of California, maybe you can go see family. Just enjoy it however you can. It's a weird time. We just hope you have the best holiday you can have.
Yeah.
Just be safe, have fun, and everything. Presents don't always matter.
Yeah.
And
don't actually kill your family. I know you'll think about it. I do. But don't do it. Don't actually do it.
And on that note, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
God bless.
In a few weeks.
Christmas.
One more thing. If you guys have any of the listeners, if you have ideas for shows or episode ideas, you can message me at my Instagram profile, which is Bad Publicity Records on Instagram. Message me if you have ideas or comments or just want to tell us what a great job we're doing and how cool we are.
Don't message him about conspiracy theories. He will talk to you.
I will talk to you about it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. We're signing out. This is the Pleb Critics Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Adios.
What the crap is that?
I don't know.